Hi guys! Welcome to BALTASAR GRACIÁN's The Pocket Oracle and Art of Prudence review. Let's get started with. Now firstly, I'm starting to go ahead and go into this direction so I can start putting drawings on here more. Okay, so let's just do this start with off. First off, we're starting off with this Pocket Oracle and the Art of Prudence. Now, you might be calling this, even the whole blurb of this thing calls it that, the Guide of Life. Guide of Life. And there are a few reasons why we can call it that. First off, for around currently 377-ish years, my math could be incorrect, give or take a few years, this goes ahead, and for those amounts of years, we've been went ahead, and people have been reading this book and getting life advice too. One of the few books that BALTASAR GRACIÁN actually wrote with the approval, without rebelling against his bosses, and the ones that he actually wanted to write about. And for those 377 years, this book has inspired many people to live, well, mostly live, by these maxims. What are maxims? Well, in this case, in this book, there are 300 of these little advice sayings, such as, don't be the wild card, know how to use your enemies, don't become a monster of stupidity, don't be bad by being totally good, those kind of things. And there are these 300 maxims, and they're also known as aphorisms. I call them apophisms for the whole time until now. And right now we go ahead and talk about them too. This art of advice, there's all these advice that goes ahead too. It's called the Art of Prudence. But I think the better thing to call this book is an art of advice, because BALTASAR GRACIÁN did master that ability completely. Even so, he's more of like a little warrior's cat, medicine cat kind of style way, or Doctor Strange kind of way. And he's all like saying, you must pass these little realms and forces, and with all that, you basically go ahead and do things a little too late, shall we say. This Guide of Life, he's created this Guide of Life, he's literally mastered that ability pretty well, and in my humble opinion, I'm going to have to say this, I literally had to rank 3 of them for top 3, and I did that twice, because I separated this book into 2 halves. And unlike the Doctor Strange way, so he goes ahead and his sayings are actually making sense with the laws of physics and those kind of things, but not the laws of physics, mainly the laws of humans. Now, we humans haven't changed much since 17th century. Sure, 17th century humans have a lot of differences. They just found America. The fastest way to travel through continents that are not connected by land is boats, because that's the only other way to travel available back then. Other faster way from ways that are actually went ahead and connected by land was also horse travel. But then again, you could get into some very messy business. Then again, pirates existed. Pirates don't exist today the way they did back then. Also, the concept is still pretty much the same. And also, the fastest news that could ever travel to you, sure, it could be second, because people can, it's like hours since it's happened, or either that, and the longest thing that ever, the longest kind of distance travel that's between 2 countries is either years, but other than that, there's also certain instances for the shortest one being weeks, because Pony Express, that didn't exist back then, but, well, news traveled on people on horses, which went ahead through different countries. Also, passport immigration laws are needed too, and then again, news spreads fast here, and fast at the time was a few weeks from one country to a country on the other side of the world. Sometimes it took years. So some countries were using outdated information. Others were also using outdated information. So both sides were pretty much using stupid information to try to go ahead and do things that wouldn't work on each other. Then again, it would technically still work on each other, so that doesn't really work out really well. And with this Guide of Life, it goes ahead and teaches you some advice on such as how to refuse and how to accept respectfully, how to have good taste in both women, your hobbies, and culture. But then again, you also need good advice on taking things. You have to go ahead and do other things too. You have to have a healthy amount of caution, and this book is where that comes in. And with all that happening, you also get this video. This also inspired me to make this video too. This book itself, The Pocket Oracle and the Art of Prudence, after reading all this 300 maxims, you're probably 300 maxims more better at creating your own life, or if not that, at least living a better life too. If you're just born, somehow know all these big fancy words, and start reading this book, good job for you. You started early, and now you can probably live your life to its fullest. If not to its smartest. But then again, you go ahead and do things too. All my advice on this, my takings on this, is that this pocket oracle and the art of prudence goes ahead and teaches us things that we've probably never known before. I mean, some of these things actually tell me not to get overexcited, and then I get overexcited, and then I hurt myself, and I never get overexcited again. And then with that, you go ahead and do things too. It actually learned, and also probably a little warning too. The pocket oracle itself, this thing here, this pocket oracle, is also called the pocket oracle, not just the art of prudence, because it's also kind of an oracle. It predicts how humans will react, and it definitely predicted how I would act too, because it did. And then, well, I did something that I regret and I'll never do again. With that, you'll do things much more easily and with much more ease. And by the things, I mean the right things, not the things you have to do, you have to not to do. It also teaches you how to get your friends, how to make sure they're good friends, and also not to really take anything blindly. You have to stop blindly trusting people, unlike young Sheldon over there. And last but not least, I really want to mention here is that this book of aphorisms is useful for everything in your everyday life. We may have lots of differences in 17th century, whether it's our culture. Well, culture hasn't changed much. Well, culture, internet culture, sure, the internet has changed a lot, and the internet has just arrived 17th century, centuries later, centuries after the 17th century. That's the only time when all this actually happened. And, well, we also learned a lot of great things too. We as humans have seen different advancements, like the 1 million subscriber play button is now a pretty big status among people on this career and on this platform too. Other things that have happened here too is that it's probably changed my life. If I actually go ahead and keep following to do these things much more easily and much more than I should probably be doing, then I'll probably live a better life and probably a much more happier life with fewer arguments than I would want. That means I want fewer arguments. So go read the Pocket Oracle and the Art of Prudence now, today, whenever you're starting or whenever you're watching this video. So I'll see you guys soon. Until next time, ciao, peace. Bye-bye. So here's a little edit roll that I added to the end. First off, the Art of Prudence goes ahead, gives you advice. And all that advice is also probably some if you read this, you might have that little vibe, that little spider sense, which goes ahead and tells you like, wait, I feel kind of guilty because this book tells me how to do this and I literally did the opposite of it. So is this a really good predictor, or is just a really good analyst? Is this person, whoever wrote this book, this BALTASAR GRACIÁN, went ahead and was able to analyze my life. Somehow he's a little time walker and found my life for some reason and decided to go ahead and use that to write this book. I don't think so, to be honest. I think humans just have a tendency to not really change that much. Humans haven't changed their behaviors since the dawn of time. Sure, we had to adapt to different situations and create new behaviors, but that doesn't mean in our core our little soul has changed, if a soul does exist. This part hasn't changed. Our outside has definitely changed several times. In the future will probably be like VR technology and probably play 3D tic-tac-toe, or some of those likes. But this part here won't change at all. And I'm actually kind of happy about that too. This book will still stay relevant for centuries to come. If it's been relevant for about 4 centuries now,